Harley Benton recently released their new set of guitar DIY kits. It made me really excited. But then comes the question, is it worth to spend your bucks on those kits? Let's talk about it. What's up everyone? Welcome back to our channel, and I'm glad to start here a new format of video, which actually will become a series with more than one episode. As I already mentioned, I received the news from Harley Benton Media with lots of excitement. The reason for that is basically due to my previous experience with their DIY kits and also finished guitars. I really enjoy the process of crafting the custom-made DIY kits, and somehow it's really educational the experience of putting it all together and make your own upgrades to it. So the idea for this series will be to cover the full process of building this DIY kit, making some comments during the process about what can be the attention points for those who also will be building the guitar on their own for the first time. Anyway, we need to take some considerations before getting into it. I am not a luthier and I do not have a wood making workshop. I am literally building the kit with power tools bought on a hardware store, as majority of you probably will do. On the other hand, this will not be my first experience as a guitar tech novice, as I already built two of those Harley Benton kits and also did some upgrades to my budget guitars. Now let's talk a little bit about the Harley Benton kits and what was the chosen one for the series. Harley Benton has a successful set of DIY kits that historically figuring ST styles, T styles, single cuts, double cuts, PRS styles with and without tremolo, P basses, J basses, and now the brand new ones. A semi-hollow T style, a 335 hollow body style, left-handed T and ST models, a Music Man bass kit, and an uncut kit that can be used for custom body shapes, which can be used even for an explorer shape. The chosen kit for our project was the semi-hollow T style, as it's a little bit simpler to work with it inside the apartment and mostly will be simpler to prepare the finishing of it. Sounds good? So now let's take a look at it. After 1 week, the kit finally hit my door, and I was impressed after unboxing it. The quality of the woodwork is impressively higher compared to the old Harley Benton kits, especially to what concerns to the guitar neck. All frets were perfectly placed, without sharp edges and perfectly adjusted. No higher frets or strange defects. Also, the adjustment of the truss rod was perfect. When we move to the body, I need to highlight some points that bother me a little. First one was the quality of the finishing of the sound hole. There were clear rough edges on the sound hole cut, which made the kit look cheap. We'll need to address this later probably. Another thing that bothered me was the absence of holes to cross the string through the body. Of course, if we would use the original kit bridge, it would not be a problem, but as I'm looking for a more traditional thin line Telecaster look, I'll need to make my own custom to cross the strings through the body. Another thing that we need to highlight is, the pickguard is an original shape for this project, which makes the drilling completely out of template if you wish to change for another one. The guitar hardware is as expected, an entry-level quality, but honestly much better than the older ones. For the electrical parts, they are solderless, which means that you just need to follow the instruction and you'll be fine to put it in place without any soldering. So, in a general way, the kit looks fine, but if you expect here to see a simple video guide on how to assemble it, I believe you can close the video and move ahead to the next one on the list. The idea for this project is to make the guitar look like an intermediate level guitar, or at least to try. So we can compare if it is worthy or not, especially when we consider all the necessary upgrade items and guitar finish material. Let's take a look on what you will target on achieving. First of all, I strongly suggest you to plan really well how your kit will look like before buying it. As you'll see, big part of the total cost on this project actually will be placed on the upgrade pieces itself. For our project here, we will get inspiration of the traditional Telecaster thin line from Fender, and considering the possibilities of finishing that we would have, as this kit comes in full maple neck, including the maple fretboard, I will make a nitro finish in shell pink. For the pickguard, we will use the traditional shape of the double single coils in a paraloid white. We'll shape our headstock as the traditional Telecaster one, but with a customization on the logo. So if everything goes well, this is how our guitar should look like. Now let's take a look at the specs of the upgrade items and also how much they would cost. For this project, I have chosen the cheapest intermediary level hardware and electrical components available on the market. With those ones, we should have a guitar that is comparable with an intermediate level, like a Squier or even a Harley Benton, but having a little bit less cost than what is expected. As I mentioned before, for the kit we are going to be using the Harley Benton T-Style semi-hollow kit, and for the bridge I have chosen the Wilkinson ashtray style, so the most traditional style bridge for the Telecaster. I have also chosen some pickups from Wilkinson, in this case in all nickel 5. For the pickguard we are going to use the Fleor, and I am also buying from Fleor the vintage tuners. Together with the vintage tuners, considering the drilling that we have on the headstock, it's necessary also to consider the purchasing of some bushings, but they're pretty cheap. Finally, for the electrical components, I have chosen to use the Fleor ones also. So this includes selectors, pots, jacks, wires, capacitors, and other things. If we have counted properly, this should be totalizing 183 euros till now, considering the prices of the moment that I'm recording this video. Now, we also need to consider some additional guitar finishing material. Of course, I'll not list here every single piece of sandpaper we will use, but the main material we need to take into consideration. The most expensive parts are related to the painting and finishing itself. So for this project, I have chosen to use a nitrocellulose sanding primer, a nitrocellulose shell pink lacquer, a nitrocellulose clear coat, in this case a shiny one, and for the neck also we're going to use some Crimson Guitar high build finishing oil. I'll keep in the description the links for the materials. Finally, the total cost for these finishing materials should be around 317 euros. As you can notice, we are pretty close to the initial values of the Squier Telecaster thin line, but still under the value of a classic Vibe 1, which is currently costing around 410 euros. Anyway, we need to highlight that those values are much higher than a Harley Benton Hot Rod, which has really equivalent specs, costing 265 euros. If we want to be honest, we need also to consider some additional things inside the project. We need to start talking a little bit about the tooling you will need. I will not insert here the values of that, because my understanding is that once you buy those power tools and devices, you can also use them for other projects or even to make your own guitar maintenance. Anyway, here's a list of tools that you definitely need. And some other things more, like wood files, glue, masking tape, and etc. You need always to take into consideration that in order to make things in a safe way, other things can be useful, like woodwork clamps, woodwork benches, and etc. So now, let's talk about the design of the headstock. As we mentioned before, we'll go for a traditional Telecaster headstock shape, considering that the thin line has a more rough logo. Let's try to design something in the same sense, but with a little bit of my own personality. For the logo, I will use my own surname, with Mr. Daffo font, which reminds me a lot of the traditional Fender logo. As a custom build, I will add here also the two flags that represents where I come and where have I built it. We can also add the description of the Telecaster thin line here ahead. And finally, I believe it's fair to remember that this is a handcrafted custom design. Don't let anyone know that I didn't craft it from the wood pieces itself. Now we have our target, we have our plan, and on the next episode, we'll start to put hands on. It will be time to start shaping our headstock and guitar body. And that's all for today. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give me your thumbs up and comment below the questions you have on how to build your own kits. I'll be attentively answering all the questions. I'll catch you on the next. Keep on rocking!